Hey guys, Spartan Robot Guy here. To state the obvious, this video is a lot different than any of my previous content. Yes, I do intend to get right back on the banjo bandwagon very soon, but I've had some thoughts as of late that I really feel like sharing. So, I have been living in Las Vegas for about a year and a half now, and even before then, my favorite video game of all time is quite likely Fallout New Vegas. And something that I've learned to appreciate even more about that game since I actually moved to the real Las Vegas is just how much of actual Vegas found its way into the game. Now, that might sound a little silly thinking about the nature of Fallout New Vegas, but there's so many small details about this community that in some capacity were either lifted from or directly inspired the video game, if that makes any sense. And this is just one example, and it's a personal favorite example of mine. So let me explain.
Till next time.
Nowhere else will you find something like the Thorn.
So the Thorn. Probably a fan favorite spot in the game.
Stranger.
Really interesting concept in that it's essentially an underground gambling hall. Except instead of gambling on card games, the people there gamble on who would win in a fight. 2 death claws or 8 rad scorpions, for example. Really cool concept, and it fits perfectly with the Las Vegas vibe.
I can see your
I also
resolve.
appreciate this emphasis on strength. It seems to be built entirely upon a hierarchy of the strongest surviving and the weaker ones not surviving. Really interesting concept, and from a creative standpoint, absolutely brilliant. But to me, what elevates the Thorn above many other areas in Fallout New Vegas is that there is a potential inspiration in real-world Vegas. See, as most locals will tell you, Las Vegas has one of the largest tunnel networks of any city in the world, all directly below the glitz and glamour of the Strip in Fremont. And they serve a very simple purpose. The most common thing they're used for is simply piping water around. Anytime it rains in Vegas, it pours in Vegas. And geographically, being in an enormous bowl, it's very quick to flood anytime it rains. So these tunnels are most often used purely to take this water buildup and pipe it elsewhere so that these buildings aren't absolutely destroyed. But they also serve another, somewhat unexpected purpose. As, once again, most locals will tell you, there is a very large, stable homeless population living in this tunnel. Most numbers you find online are somewhere between 1,500 and 2,500 individuals living 100% of their lives underground in these tunnels. Now, what does this have to do with the Thorn? Well, in a very similar vein to the Thorn, they are very much built on a very strict hierarchy that is built upon strength. Now, are there mutated monsters mauling each other? No. But there is a stable group of people that live exclusively underground and build their entire impromptu society around the strength, around the strongest surviving and the weaker ones being their playthings. So to me, thinking about the Thorn, it almost feels like it's something that could, in theory, happen. It almost feels like a natural post-apocalyptic evolution of this underground society. So not a direct comparison, not an exact analogy, but to me it definitely feels like somebody somewhere took this notion of the Las Vegas Underground, a mostly local thing, and they put a really interesting post-apocalyptic spin on it. Again, this feels very probable. It feels like something that could, in theory, actually happen in the long-term aftermath of a nuclear war. All of a sudden, this underground society that's already a little unhinged, all of a sudden becomes all the more unhinged because of the end of the world, because the world that's going on above has suddenly burned to the ground. All of a sudden, things only get worse in the tunnels, and they eventually devolve into the Thorn. Anyway, these are just my thoughts, and as a Las Vegas local, like I already said, the longer I live in this community, the more small details I see that I can think back to and remind me of Fallout New Vegas. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I will continue to point out these small details, because there's quite a few of them. There's a lot to say. I mean, every now and then I'll just be wandering Las Vegas Boulevard, or I'll be at the intersection of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont, and I'll be like, wow, this is future Freeside. So if you guys are interested in more of my thoughts on this matter, please let me know. I would love to do more freeform videos like this where I just talk about real Vegas versus New Vegas.
What do you want to know?
Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
My creatures are expensive to find.
Fantastic
If your pleasure is to see them bleed at your will, I'll